Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Brad Panovich here for SkiSoutheast.com. We've had some mild weather going into the weekend, but it's not a complete wash. As we said, we were going to see part of the weekend warm and part of it cool. So let's talk about how this is going to be kind of a 50-50 weekend, I like to call it. So let's go right to the maps. We'll show you what's going to happen here as we go into the weekend. Here's our big storm. It's approaching Sunday, Saturday into Sunday. Saturday's super warm, southwest wind, but look what happened Sunday. Got this low pressure developing off the coast here. Pretty nice little low, but it's pretty far east. But this upper level trough, which is going to be swinging on the backside, this piece of energy is going to drive a lot of our snow potential. So you see that burst of snow. It moves through. We get another little, what we call shortwave, little piece of energy comes through on Monday. So we could see some additional northwest flow. But the good news in all this, it's cold for Sunday and for Valentine's Day and even for Tuesday next week. I think we'll have cold enough temperatures, but then we start warming back up next week. Look at the flow here coming out of the southwest. So we get a really warm flow the middle of next week again. So the cold snap is going to be probably 3 days at most, but there are signs next weekend of another big storm. And so now we're getting towards President's Day weekend where maybe the pattern flips back to cold. So next Saturday, this is next Saturday, okay? Get back to some northwest flow. So we're going to see some of the ebbs and flows here over the next week and a half or so. Don't get discouraged by the warm spells because they're not lasting very long, and it does look like colder air comes back. But there are some hints of some milder air in the long term. Let's look at the natural snow. Nothing really to write home about. That's not a huge amount of natural snow, but we'll take the cold air while we can get it. The forecast this week again, whoops, that's the wrong one. Let me update that real quickly. There we go. That should be the correct forecast. Real quick. What happened there? It was bizarre. So we've got no chance of snow for Friday, Saturday, but then Sunday, Monday, that's the time frame. A little bit of natural snow. And I'd say even Tuesday, there's a potential we could have some cold enough air for snowmaking. But overall, it really looks to be Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. Now, let's look long term. One of the things I've been watching, you see the big ridge out west. Let me grab my cursor here so you can see it. Big ridge out west, little dip in the jet stream. That's this weekend storm. But watch what happens as we go into next week. I'm going to go forward into time. You see the trough over the east, so there's Sunday, Monday. We see some ridging taking place. So this is an interesting pattern. We start to see a dip out west, dip in the jet stream here. Here comes our ridge for the middle of next week. This is why it warms up in the middle of next week. The question is, does this continue to push out, and do we see this trough start to move to the east as well? We don't want to see this ridge camp out over the eastern U.S. And we do see some subtle signs of that for the following weekend as the ridge breaks down. But I'll be honest, looking long term, this is going all the way into next weekend. You're starting to see some signs of some ridging here. It's a flat ridge, which is good, which means it's not like this. It's not a mountain. It's kind of flat, and the flow is becoming more zonal. So hopefully we can get another surge of moisture and cold air into the east, but it is a pattern we've got to be very cautious of. I do not want to see the southeast ridge begin to crank back up and be with us for the rest of the season. The only good news I can tell in the next 7 to 10 days, at least we're going to get some breaks in that ridging, and we should see a trough. Now, whether we flip this pattern again into March is still up in the air, but we often see that. Anytime we see the warm pattern come back, it doesn't last very long, and we see a flip back to cold. So maybe March might be a little bit of a surprise, but looking towards the middle, at least of February to the end, it's going to be up and down. Expect a roller coaster. So that's why the cold air that was with us in January was so important. Make as much snow as you can. Get this base built up. And I do think if you time out some of these weekends with these storms, you might end up being surprised with some really good natural snow. But conditions so far across the southeast still remain amazing. So really no need to worry about skiing, at least for the next couple of weeks, because we got enough base and enough cold air and snow coming in sporadically that we should be fine. But as always, keep thinking snow. We want to keep this season going all the way into March, maybe even early April if things work out right. But right now it looks like we're in store for a little bit of a roller coaster. Think snow, everybody.